Welcome back to Swine TV. Breaking news from last week. Hord Family Farms acquires New Horizon Farms and expands operations to Pipestone, Minnesota. Today we have Phil Hord on the program. Welcome, Phil.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good morning.
I know it was a busy weekend for you. Let's get right to it. Why New Horizon specifically did Hord choose to purchase?
Yeah, I ask myself that question sometimes too, right? But getting right into it, we've known New Horizon for a while. We were in some kind of private peer groups in industry. This industry small enough, everyone kind of knows each other. And so, at our first notification that the sale was, that the assets were for sale, we were like, yeah, that's interesting. As many may have felt the same way. But having known some of the leadership there, and then having the connection, we just said, hey, let's go out and visit. So being geographically so different, it was intriguing to us. So we went out and visited, and I would say more going out to just figure out if what was there and what it looked like. We had been a long time since any of us from our team had been there, and so I would say, that differentiator was really ended up being the people, being the community. It felt somewhat like here, really, in Ohio, and I think that was a big deal. I mean, there was certainly, that group of people that genuinely care and want to do the right thing. There was already a culture of innovation and improvement. They have some research assets that we had been familiar with. We feel like there's opportunities to continue making that system better. So it had a lot of commonalities to our business, as well as, kind of having the full scope from a wean to finish perspective. There was a feed mill, there's a truck wash. It was kind of all encompassing a system. And you don't always see that when items are for sale, right? There's not an actively ongoing business where it's kind of a complete group of people and assets. And so that was also important to us as we looked at this.
So the process, you guys did it yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah. We had obviously many people on the way, different vendors and advisors and financial institutions that we were working with. And I think they were surprised about how actively our family was in the process. And I guess we hadn't really thought about it until people started saying it to us. But yeah, we were really active. My dad's sister and I were basically had led the thing from the get-go, with along with some help and some advice from our key people around us. But it's a fun process. We learned a lot. I think if anything, we thought, and we kept saying throughout the process, if it didn't happen, at least we had came out with a whole new set of skills and picture into how things like this go.
So what else does it mean for Horde and its customers? And this applies to the geographic part of it as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, nothing changes in Ohio. That would be the first thing I would say. We're committed more than ever to serving our primary processing partner here in Ohio. And, we're putting down additional investment. We're building a new sow farm right now here as well. So I would say we're looking at these as being, because they are so geographically different, we're looking at them being pretty separate from that regard. We are committed to continuing to serve the two processors that New Horizon had previously been selling to. So everything's staying on that, the same on that side too, from a customer standpoint. We look forward to building those relationships just as we have done here over the last few decades here with our processor in the East.
And what's the rationale for expansion at this time within a challenging market, Phil?
Maybe we're crazy. I don't know. We we hadn't added any swine production, any additional assets in about 5 years. We've grown our crop side of our business some. Uh, as a family, we farm about 9,000 acres of cropland, and so while the swine industry economics have been the primary driver for the stagnation and growth, there's also been a lack of expansion opportunities here in the eastern region, and so there's also fewer assets over here. And so as we looked at it, it was kind of, hey, it's a different geographic area. It's a different opportunity to get over there. There's obviously differences in the grain basis and input pricing that we don't, we have differences, major differences historically here versus there. We have to take the position. We have to be optimistic that this period of time we've been in, this awful period of time in the industry, has to turn around at some point. And so I don't think anyone can really be in this industry and not have to be somewhat optimistic. It's been a challenge. It's been really rough, but we're looking for the future, and that's really our stance on it.
How did this come about? So I know you had some good conversations. Was there one moment that you can recall back on that kind of brought this to light?
We absolutely were not looking for an acquisition, certainly not an acquisition of this size. We, in fact, I guess had been strategically placing some capital outside of the swine industry. Not crazy amount, but continuing to kind of grow our family's portfolio from that standpoint. And so it really, when it came up to us, it was, okay, let's take a look, let's get into it. What's it going to require? Where are we going with it? And so I would say that while we weren't looking for this, I think that it was something we've been kind of planning for, some sort of an investment in some sort of a downturn period. Now, whether we've timed that right or not, I don't know. Whoever can figure that out, I guess. I don't know who that would be, but we think we've timed it well. And obviously we can't time the time of when something's coming up for sale, but we had to look at what was in front of us and feel like we could add enough value to make the business successful. And we felt like it had a lot of the key things going for it. These great people, great community. The assets are aging, but they've been taken care of very well. And so it just kind of worked together. So we'll see as time goes forward, but we're gonna die trying.
Well, it's 1 foot forward and you just keep going full steam ahead. What did you learn the most, Phil?
I don't know. Like I had been saying, we weren't looking for an acquisition. We weren't looking for expansion. We haven't done anything to this nature. The most we've really acquired was a single site or a sow farm. There wasn't really anything of this scope. So I would say everything from learning how the process works to how to evaluate a business, looking at for those of us that don't spend much time looking at other businesses' financials. I mean, that was very interesting as we looked at that. You then start thinking about what things have to be repaired and replaced immediately. What are things that need to be, remediated in the next, say, 5 years? I mean, there's a lot of, I would say a lot of us in the industry have a lot of these core competencies, but then you're kind of trying to put all of those things together and doing all at the same time. So that was probably the thing I learned the most, was how to juggle maintaining our current business here, but then also doing this at the same time. And it didn't happen without having great people around us.
Now that this is done, Phil, what's next for Hord?
We need to digest what we've just done here, and really look forward to working with the team there. I would say we've 50% plus growth, I guess, if you looked at our sound numbers before to what this does to us now. I think it's time to execute on some of those plans and those things that we've been kind of planning for here the last few months. And I would say, yeah, just looking at the future, how do we continue to do what we can to be the best of what we can be, and have our team around us take that same approach. I think that's really how I look at the next even 90 days, right? So,
Well, congratulations again, Phil. Thanks for joining us and sharing the story.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you.